Hello everyone, I'm Tammy and welcome to my craft room here at Creative Girl Vintage. Today I thought I'd pull out a few things things I found at garage sales and the flea market and all my little vintagey things. And this little guy right here happens to be something that my husband, who's a bottle digger, dug this up. He's pulled some really good stuff out of the ground over the years, and I wanted to give you a little bit of a history lesson on this piece as well. So I've got some old earrings here and of course this cute little cup, and I was thinking like a little fairy garden in a teacup kind of thing. So I hope you'll hang out with me for a little bit. I would really enjoy that, and let's put together a little fairy garden in a teacup vintage assemblage. Let's start this project out with this little tiny little teacup. Isn't that sweet? I think I found this at a garage sale. It was like 10 cents. Surprisingly, I tend to find this type of thing at garage sales. So, that's something I can never leave behind. It has to come home with me. I have a piece of Excelsior here that I've kind of like rolled up into a ball, and I just want to use that really for filler down in the bottom of this teacup. And here, let me add just a little bit of glue down in here just so it doesn't go flying out. Let's pop that in there just to have something to work off of. And this is a piece of moss. It has a little bit of sparkle to it, which is kind of perfect for today. And I would think I'll just lay that right there. And I kind of want that side to stick up a little bit. So let me just add a little bit of glue to this here. Just get it started anyway. And maybe I might need a little extra right here, just so everything stays in place. Okay. I think that looks good. That moss, it's so messy, isn't it? All right, so there's the little start of our operation right there. Now, this little guy here, I promised you a history lesson. He looks like he's sitting on a toilet, doesn't he? All right, so my husband, since he digs in these old dump sites from, all different ages, he can really date something and kind of like, you can see what people were really into at the time. So in 1900, if you were living in the city, most likely you had indoor plumbing. If you were in the country, it took it to about the 1920s before everybody was getting this indoor plumbing. So this was obviously a really popular thing. So this is just the tip of the iceberg of what he has dug, but they really were just completely fascinated with toilets. And listen, granted, can you imagine? I mean, getting a bathroom, that had to be a huge thing. So the tchotchke of the day, as you can see, look at this little guy in the toilet, this little guy here, what the tchotchke of the day was the toilet. This was something I think everybody was just completely infatuated with. And he has dug so many of these things. And look at this one here for ladies only. And he said also a lot of the bars used to use these for like an ashtray. So, this was something people were just totally excited about. I get that. And this little guy here, I'm sure he came off of something that was using a little toilet bowl. Today, he's definitely going to be put in a fairy garden and not an outhouse. Okay, so we're gonna change up everything for him today. So one of the things I want to do, since it is going to be like a little fairy garden, is he needs a little fairy wing. So this is just some simple tulle, and I'm just going to cut off a little scrap of it and just tie it in half like so. This is like the foundation for my little wings. And then I'm just going to trim off some edges so I end up with something like this. And right there, we have some sweet little fairy wings. So that I think that's just very ethereal and very sweet with that wispy tulle. So let's just glue that right on the back right here, like so. I might cut them down just a little tiny bit. Okay, there we go. So he's going to just be sitting right in here like this. Okay, so let's make that happen. I'm going to use hot glue really for this whole project. And see where I want to set him. And I might have to hold him for a second or two and maybe even go under with my hot glue and kind of reinforce that a little. You know, when you're gluing things onto this moss, you know, it's kind of floppy. It wants to flop, or see how that's flopping around? And you have to go in sometimes and just kind of firm it all up in there. And it will. It'll definitely. Okay. All right, look how cute he is with his little wings. I think he still needs a little bit more security here. So I'm going to be really generous with that glue. Okay. All right, let's just let him dry for a second. That's probably what it needs, a little drying time. Look at these earrings. Aren't they sweet? I actually have, these were a flea market find, and there was just one of each one. But, of course, I couldn't leave them. They're too cute. And I thought for our fairy garden, these would be really pretty as flowers in the garden. I'm not even going to take the backs off of these. I'm just going to use them as is. And instead of getting thrown away, because there's only one earring, this is going to be something that makes a beautiful piece of art. Let me pop him in there too. Okay. Now this comes together really easy. Look at how sweet that is. Oh, I love the vintage jewelry in there. Okay, so next, I've got this little stamp here. It says fairy dust, a sparkly magical powder. Only a real fairy or pixie has fairy dust. I found this at Red Lead. I'm going to link that website for you. It is my #1 favorite place to get my rubber stamps. The best ever. So this is a piece of old scrap, I think it was an index card that I coffee dyed a long time ago. And just going to put my stamp right on that coffee dyed paper, and then we'll just cut it out. All right, and then how about maybe we just sort of like tuck that in somewhere. So let me see. Let's see where we can tuck you in. I think, yeah. Right there, right there. I'm just going to try to do that with a little bit of glue and let it take hold of these little wings out of the way a little bit and slip that right into that glue. Look how sweet that is, you guys. With just all these little things that I've just picked up over time. This is just a piece of velvet, and I kind of wanted it to be skinnier than what this piece is, so let me just cut right there, and maybe just take this and stick it through the handle here like so. Just put a little piece of velvet on the handle. Okay. And you know what? This is probably my shortest video ever. This went together so quick, and it absolutely is totally sweet for a little summer decoration. I think I might have to go pop this on my windowsill because it is really a cutie. So you guys, when you're out there, pick up all those little vintage things, even if it's one little piece at a time. Get your collection going, and when you're in the mood to create, just pull it out and enjoy. So I hope you enjoyed this video today. It was short and sweet, and it's just a darling little teacup fairy garden. So everyone, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you at our next creative project.